The numbers told the story. They always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gill Alexander on VSiN.
Good Monday morning to you. It is a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV. However you're taking us in, we appreciate it. It's Gill Alexander, Kelly Bidlin alongside for Guessing Lines week number 2 in the National Football League. Guessing Lines, which we have been doing. I have been doing this podcast, this version for, it's not a podcast, but it is podcast in our secondary form now. But radio side, obviously, in its primary form, 14 years now. 14!
14!
And for those who don't know what this is all about, I do not know the lines. I'm in a cocoon from Sunday till this morning. The exercise is such that we will go through all of yesterday's games. Kelly will, in the process we will do that. Kelly will throw out the games from this coming week. We'll go through the games that these two teams, the two teams in question, played in yesterday or this weekend. And then I will take a stab at a line, and you will tell me how absolutely wrong or correct I am. And in that process, we hope to extract value handicapping-wise. Before we start, sir.
Yes.
5,563 entries of 14,266 gone in Survivor. That is 38.99% of all entries gone week 1. Still one game to play, by the way. But I don't think anybody has the Jets or Niners, do they? Maybe they do. But that's the story. 38.99% gone. 34.3% alone on the Cincinnati Bengals. So there you go with that, which we'll get to momentarily. That was a big Survivor killer. But 38.99% gone. How did you do in millions?
We have 123 on the Niners tonight.
Oh, we do? Okay, so could be more.
And 1 on the Jets. How does that work?
One bold multi-entry on the Jets.
How did my millions go, Gil?
Yes, sir.
Well, we're on pace for Kelly Bidlin to win this whole thing.
You're on pace for 90-0?
I got 4-0-1 and a 4-0 with Jets pending tonight.
There you go.
Yes. How about you? How was yours?
Oh, you have 2 entries.
2 entries, yes.
4-0-1 and 4-0 with the Jets pending. I am 3-1 with the Jets pending. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right.
There we go. Numbers game. Bring home the money.
Let us do this.
And Survivor we're good on.
Survivor we're good on. We'll get to the Survivor thing when it comes up.
Pretty sure yours was a cakewalk.
Well, I lost some entries, too. I didn't play them all on the Saints, but I lost some entries, too.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I didn't go all in. I had some Bengals as well. Let's go. Week 2 in the National Football League.
All right, guessing lines. Let's fire it up. Season number 15. Is that what you just said?
14.
14?
I don't know. You know, to be honest with you, I didn't count.
Long enough and we don't know. Numbers game is back. All right, Thursday night, let's start it up. Bills at Dolphins.
R.I.P. my Mishpucha on this, by the way. We send a tribute to him. Bills at Dolphins.
Always.
Oh, good game. AFC East.
Yeah.
Thursday. By the way, the primetime games, great. The Sunday day games, not so much.
It's good to have football back.
Buffalo yesterday beats Arizona. If you got the plus 6.5 on the Cardinals, you got the money on that. And you should have gotten more than 6 if you're doing this right. But Buffalo, about what I thought they were. Opening drive, aided by a conversion. Opening drive for Arizona, I should say, aided by a conversion via questionable unnecessary roughness call on a late sliding Kyler Murray, 3rd and 13 from the Buffalo 25. 3 plays later, Murray to Michael Wilson from 5 out, 7-0 Arizona, about halfway through the first quarter. Then after a Brandon Codrington 53-yard kickoff return, the Bills get to the Cards 19. But 1st and 10, Allen doesn't feel the pressure. He's sacked by Roy Lopez. He fumbles. Justin Jones recovers. And that leads to a Prater 29-yard field goal, first play, second quarter, 10-0 Arizona. They would get a Bass 37-yard field goal, the Bills would, to cut it to 10-3 early second quarter. But then Arizona, 71 yards on 13 plays. Connor in from 3, 17-3 Arizona with 2:40 left in the second quarter. And if you are a Bills Survivor player, the sphincter, Kelly, as they say, tightens. I believe they say that.
Yes.
Do they say that, or do we just say that? Here's the key. Here's the key of the whole game, though. Buffalo has a double dip opportunity, and they execute it perfectly. They take advantage. Allen running still their best play. Josh Allen running is still the Buffalo Bills' best play. Period.
It's incredible. Superman.
7 yards from the 14, then the rest of the 7 yards into the end zone, 17-10 Arizona, 19 seconds left. That would go to halftime. Opening second half, remember, they get the ball first. The ball doesn't go into the landing zone. Bills start at their own 40. They matriculate. Allen and Mack Hollins from 11 out on 3rd and 10. Touchdown. We are tied at 17, 9:51 left in the third quarter. There's your double dip. After the teams trade 3 and out, 2nd and 7 from the Arizona at their own 24, I should say. Murray sacked by Greg Rousseau. He fumbles, recovered by Dorian Williams. Buffalo, 5 plays, 21 yards. Allen to Shakir from 11 out. And Buffalo takes their first lead, 24-17, 2:37 left in the third. But in the fourth, Arizona matriculates. They get a Prater 31-yard field goal to cut it to 24-20, 13:32 left in the game. And then the Bills go 9 plays, 70 yards. Allen to Coleman of 20 in there. But Allen himself in from 3. That's Keon Coleman, your guy from FSU. But then Allen himself, once again, their best play, just Allen tucking it under and running from 6 out. And Buffalo now is in cover range at 31-20. But ensuing kickoff, DJ Dallas returns it 96 yards. The first dynamic kickoff return for a touchdown ever. Connor in from 2, 30. Oh, excuse me. Connor in for the 2-point conversion, I should say. 31-28 Buffalo. They would add a field goal to make it 34-28, and then it would be on Arizona's racket to win this ball game. Marvin Harrison Jr. on this drive, wide open on one of the plays in the end zone. Kyler Murray completely misses him. We'll get to the Arizona part of this when we get to an Arizona game. But their game plan with Marvin Harrison Jr. was the weirdest thing ever. Barely got targeted. Bills win 34-28 because that last drive stalled at the 29. Really didn't flirt with anything. Cards, again, ATS winners at plus 6.5. Josh Allen, 18 of 23 for 232, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He was sacked twice, 9 carries for 39 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did lose 1 fumble. Miami, in a game where prior to its start, Tyreek Hill stopped for speeding outside of Hard Rock Stadium, then got into a verbal altercation with police, subsequently placed in handcuffs, stomach down on the ground. Fans walking by.
Bizarre.
Like if I was a kid and I walked by Gary Clark face down, handcuffed at RFK, I lost my mind. Didn't matter in the end. After Miami turns it over on down early, they trade punts. Jacksonville goes 96 yards, 40-yard PI, the biggest chunk. Etienne next play in from 1, 7-0 Jacksonville, 4:31 left in the first quarter. Then after a Miami 3 and out and a Jacksonville punt, Miami stopped on 4th and 3 at the Jacksonville 45. Tua, incomplete, intended for Berrios, batted down. So it goes back to Jacksonville. They go 55 yards on 8 plays. Lawrence to Kirk for 30, the big play. To Brian Thomas Jr., the rook, from 14 out. 14-0 Jacksonville. 6:21 left in the second quarter. And then Miami finally gets it going. 12 plays, 70 yards. Tua to Achane for 16. Rushing for 11. To Waddle for 20. To Reek for 10 along the way. Eventually Achane in from 1. 14-7 Jacksonville late second quarter. Enough time, though, for the Jacksonville Jaguars to get a Cam Little 53-yard field goal before the half. After Lawrence hit Thomas Jr. again for 18 and Gabe Davis for 20, their new acquisition. 17-7 Jacksonville at the half. Now, after they traded punts a couple times, the Jags matriculate. Now, they're up 10 at this point. 1st and 10 at the Miami 13, the key sequence of this ball game. Etienne, from 13 out, gets 11 of the yards on the way into the end zone, about to put the Jags up 17, stripped by Javon Holland, fumbles into the end zone, recovered by Cater Coe of Miami. First play ensuing drive here, late third quarter, Tua to Tyreek. I don't know how he turned that corner. Impossibly.
Incredible. He's amazing. 80
yards to Pater, 17-14 Jacksonville. What a turn of events in this game. And then Jacksonville gets a little panicky. 4th and 1 at their own 32. They decide to go for it. Etienne, after a long play in which he went left and right, stopped for a 2-yard loss. But Miami was stopped on a 3 and out. Jason Sanders missed a 42-yard try way left. I don't know what that was about. So it was still 17-14. Jacksonville, for the moment, dodges the bullet. Eventually, after a Jacksonville punt, Miami gets the ball again. Sanders ties it with a 37-yarder with 4:22 left. Then another 3 and out for Jacksonville after Jalen Phillips sacked Trevor Lawrence. Miami takes it over at their own 35. Tie ball game, 2:09 left. Nothing real special on the drive, but they get it far enough to get a Sanders 52-yard try. That one is right down the pipe, and the Dolphins win it 20-17. Tua 23 for 37 for 338. Tyreek 7 for 130. Waddle for 5 for 109. in that ballgame. A-Chain, by the way, 10 for 24 on the ground and a touchdown, 7 catches for 76 yards. They outgained Jacksonville 400 to 267 in total yards. By the way, another theme of week 1 in the NFL, so many penalties called, 17 total in this game for 174. Miami had 9 for 103. Buffalo at Miami, I am going to say, now this is going to have a lot to do with my pre-flop convictions, my preseason convictions. I said Miami by 4 in this game.
Yeah, you have Miami by 4. This might be a bet for you. It is Dolphins 2 right now, pretty much everywhere I'm looking. It is 2 at DraftKings. Did see this at 1.5 at some points yesterday on the openers, but we are 2 pretty much across the board on the Miami Dolphins.
Why is that less than 3?
I don't know. It's a good question. You know me, how I feel about the Bills and Dolphins. I was like kind of eyeing Bills for this game. This line surprised me a little bit. That it was only 2.
No, I mean, I get it. If you don't believe in my 4, that's one thing. But why is it less than 3? What is the explanation?
That's where I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be one of the basic 3s. You know,
right.
Sometimes we go through these and we're like, it's 3 because what else could you make?
Because I think the biggest thing that we can extract from this exercise this week, and we'll get to all of these, but one of the biggest things is which of the winners yesterday do you look at and you say to yourself, well, actually, not as good as the final score suggests, and which of the teams not as bad as the final score suggests. And I don't think I learned anything new about the Bills.
Agreed.
I think I feel exactly about them as I did, which is I don't think they're going to have a great year.
Defensive concerns only showed themselves even more yesterday.
And specifically against that Arizona defense, Arizona's defense is supposed to be one of the worst in the National Football League.
Yep.
How is it that you end up falling into a hole against that football team and really just having to stave off an upset in your own stadium? Because Arizona, that last drive was really bad. And I don't know, we'll get to it with Arizona, but I don't know what the story was with Marvin Harrison Jr. He was only targeted 4 times, and on that last drive, wide open in the end zone. And Kyler Murray, it was almost like he refused to look at him.
Yeah, no,
Buffalo
was odd.
Buffalo would have lost it outright.
Yeah, that was odd. And meanwhile, Miami side, I think there's as close of a game as it was. You might not be overly thrilled if you're a Fins fan. Look at the box score. Your offense still generated a lot. I think there's positive things with that team going forward.
More guessing lines. Trying to extract value. Week 2 in the NFL. It's a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big. We go all night. And here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
Coming up Monday on Follow the Money, we recap week 1 of the NFL. We look at the opening numbers in college football with Circa bookmaker Nick Bogdanovich, and Monday Night Football, a good one, Jets and Niners. Follow the Money weekdays, 4 to 7 Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Want to see who at VSiN is on a hot streak? Go to VSiN.com/picks to see all the selections and weekly leaderboard of VSiN hosts, writers, and guests. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber and get every pick sent to your inbox daily. Just head to VSiN.com/pro.
VSiN is thrilled to introduce a new VSiN.com tailor-made to the evolved needs of today's sports bettors. Our upgraded navigation streamlines your journey, allowing you to swiftly access articles, videos, and podcasts. Whether you're tuning in live or catching up on your favorite shows, everything is just a click away. VSiN.com guarantees a fluid and responsive experience across all devices, ensuring you stay connected wherever you are. We have enhanced tools such as our betting splits and expert picks, and introduce innovative features like parlay and odds calculators, all designed to make you a sharper bettor. Our How to Bet section is perfect for beginners, covering the fundamentals, while seasoned bettors can delve into our advanced betting strategies for the competitive edge you've been looking for. Sign up for free on VSiN.com or become a VSiN Pro subscriber, where you can unlock unlimited access to every tool, expert picks, and insight that make VSiN the Sports Betting Network.
Numbers Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Back on a Numbers Game. Guessing Lines, Season 14. Tim Lawson, podcast historian, just told me that this is the beginning of Season 14.
All right.
Guessing Lines started in 2011. 2011.
Wow.
Yeah. So this would be season number 14. I like to start with some value, and right there, I feel there's value on the Dolphins, as we just talked about.
Yeah.
If that's lower than 3, I just don't. I don't know what the justification for that is.
Yeah, I mean, you just know my reservations against betting against the great Josh Allen. But don't get me wrong. When I first saw that line last night, I'm like, this feels a little light on Miami.
Let's go.
So I might get there.
Let's go to Sunday.
All right, Sunday early window. Saints at Cowboys.
All right, we don't have to spend much time on the Saints crushing of the Carolina Panthers. Just know, we'll just do the start of this because it's all you really need to know. Opening drive of the game, the Saints' 5th play, Carr to Shaheed for 59. Touchdown, 7-0 New Orleans, less than 3 minutes in. First play from scrimmage for Carolina. First play, Kelly, Young picked by Will Harris. Bryce Young, first pass, picked.
It's okay. First play. I'm sure it'll get better from there.
New Orleans settles for a Group A 57-yard field goal. By the way, how great is the field goal kicking in this league?
Oh, it's so good that
insane.
That we have to act like Jason Sanders' miss was the most ungodly thing we've ever seen. He shouldn't belong in the league or something.
Or if you're a Washington fan, you're like, oh, we're the team that can't kick a field goal. 10-0 New Orleans. 10-0 New Orleans, less than 5 minutes in. Next drive, Young misses a wide-open Deontay Johnson on third down. Saints then go 79 yards on 11 plays. Carr to Foster Moreau from 3 outs, 17-0. We're still in the first quarter. Then after a Carolina punt, Group A from 44, 20-0. After a Jonathan Mingo fumble on the second play for the next Carolina drive, Group A from 52, 23-0. After another Carolina 3-and-out, Shaheed returns a punt 47 yards, the Carolina 16. 2 plays, or actually, excuse me, 1 play. Carr goes to Juwan Johnson, 16 yards, 30-0 New Orleans, 1:18 left in the second quarter. That's all you need to know. It was 30-3 at halftime. It's cosmetic. It's all academic for me. By the way, it was 37-3 when Bryce was picked by Jordan Howden on the third play of the second half. From 37-3, the final score 47-10. New Orleans just absolutely rolls, and this is one of these games where you just have to sort of say to yourself, is this New Orleans good or is this Carolina bad? And you have to, from your handicapping perspective, you have to try to figure out what is more real than the other. It's probably some combination of both, but good God, Carolina, as we went through it many times this offseason, the Bryce Young season last year wasn't just bad. It was historically bad. Yeah. And one off season, I guess everybody thought Canales was going to be able to work magic. Yeah. After one game, it doesn't look that way. It just doesn't at all. They're playing the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas could not have looked better. By the way, Carr, 19 of 23 for 200 in that New Orleans game. Cowboys against the Browns. You know, it started to kind of nip and tuck. Cleveland took a 3-0 lead. Then Dallas went 70 yards. Dak to Lamb for 34 of those. Beautiful Dak to Cooks, 21-yard touchdown pass. Dak on the heels of signing his long-term historic deal. 7-3 Dallas. 6:55 left in the first quarter. Cleveland 3-and-out. Dallas punt. Then the teams traded 3-and-outs. Cleveland 3-and-out. Dallas goes 78 yards in 11 plays. Zeke in from 3. How about that? Zeke 14-3 Dallas. Another Cleveland 3-and-out. Dallas 57-yard field goal from Brandon Aubrey to make it 17-3. By this point, Cleveland's offense was just getting terrible for them. 2nd and 14 at their own 26 with 1:52 to go in the second quarter. Watson, his pass tipped by Parsons into the hands of Eric Kendricks. That leads to another Aubrey field goal, 40 yards, 20-3 Dallas with 46 seconds left. Another Cleveland 3-and-out. And then Dallas, at the end of the half, they set up, I don't know if you saw this, they set up for a NFL record-tying 66-yard field goal, which Aubrey, by the way, drilled, but a delay was called. Correctly, by the way. Then they briefly thought about trying a 71-yarder up 17, and then they thought better of it. See if we could drill that. By the way,
I did not see that, actually.
First half stats for Deshaun, 7 of 15 for 36. 1 first down to Dallas's 13. They were outgained, the Browns were 216-54. Anyway, the rest of the game...
Start the Jameis clock.
The rest of the game was just it was over basically after an initial Cleveland 3-and-out to start the third, and then Kevontae Turpin went 60 yards on a Corey Bojorquez punt, 27-3 Dallas, and the rest was academic, 33-17, sort of a cosmetic score at the end for Cleveland. Dak 19 of 32 for 179. They were +2 in turnovers. But this game, by the way, to the theme of penalties, 22 total penalties called in this game for 149 yards. These games are, I'll tell you. I said it, how many times did I say? Something about going from 4 preseason games to 3, and the fact that every NFL team then plays their preseason differently. Some just sit all their players. Some just don't look prepared to play football. Dallas just completely destroyed Cleveland. That was the one Super Contest pick I got wrong, terribly wrong, on Cleveland. And Dallas might be, we talked about what's the thing that people have been saying a lot during the offseason that you might not be able to sort of get behind. A lot of people have thought Dallas would stink. They don't look like they're going to stink.
I guess I would phrase it more as I think a lot of people are sleeping on this team. Sleeping on this team way too much because of the off-field stuff and contracts and whatever. And I would say that I myself said if there was a scenario if no one was signed and then they were bad early, it could get ugly. And then but everybody got signed in the end. I guess you also worried about what happens. I feel like we talk about this in the media too much, but what happens when these guys get paid is that is the quality of their effort going to drop off? No, Dak and CD looked perfectly fine.
So
yesterday.
many great players on defense. Dallas minus 7.5 over New Orleans is the guess.
Yep, you are a little heavy. You can get Cowboys on the other side of 7 right now. 6.5 over at DraftKings. Plenty of 6.5s available.
Give me that.
I think I will be there with you. Did not bet it yet. Was interested to see where this would move. There is 1-7. Circa does have 7 up. I would expect it to go in that direction here throughout the week. So
I will take the Cowboys on that turf. If you're giving me less than 7, I like the first 2 games already.
I think the other one real quick on the Saints, just going back there. I think we've been saying this about Derek Carr for years, right? Derek Carr is a perfectly serviceable quarterback as long as he has weapons and is not getting hit. And the Panthers, once again, have no pass rush whatsoever and got no pressure on them throughout the whole game.
We don't know anything about New Orleans. Aaron Schatz can take a bow at least after week 1 because he says New Orleans is going to win that division and that they're good, just boring. But we don't know anything about New Orleans after playing Panthers. What's next?
Okay, next up, Buccaneers at Lions, Sunday, 1 Eastern.
Okay, Buccaneers, I'm not even going to go through this game other than to tell you that the Washington Commodores defense was the worst. If Carolina was the worst thing, because I think it's hard to say anybody was worse than Carolina, the Washington defense was horrific. Didn't tackle, didn't cover. Baker Mayfield was 24 of 30 in this game for 289. There was absolutely no resistance. 4 touchdowns, no picks. A lot of penalties called in this game, too, by the way. 14 for 97 total. Jaden Daniels, of all the rookie quarterbacks, I don't think any of the rookie quarterbacks will get to Washington. I don't think any of them were great. Jaden Daniels at least had the willingness to run, so his stat sheet looked okay on the ground anyway. But Tampa Bay was it was so easy for them in this game. So they destroy Washington, and they do so by the final score of, what was the final score in this game? Was it 37-20?
Yeah, 37-20.
Cosmetic touchdown again by Washington late in that ball game. At Detroit late night. The primetime games were great, and this game last night was outstanding. We'll pick it up in the second half. 17-3, the Lions led this game, and the Rams were a mash unit at this point. Puka Nacua at this point was already ruled out with a knee injury. 17-3, Goff to Jameson for 52 is what put the Lions up 17-3. Rams then go 11 plays, 70 yards. Kyron in from 2, 17-10 Detroit. 3:33 left in the third quarter. After Detroit 3 and out, 2nd and 12 at their own 14. Stafford to Tyler Johnson. This was the play that sort of changed this game. He puts his foot in the ground, as Mike Tirico likes to say. He spun out, went 63 yards to the Detroit 23 to end the third quarter. Then a PI on the rook, Terrion Arnold, in the end zone against DeMarcus Robinson. 2 plays later, Jordan Whittington in the end zone on a sweep, but A.J. Arcuri grabbed Aiden Hutchinson's face mask. The Rams had to sell for a Cardi 26-yard field goal. 17-13 Detroit, 12:32 to go. Then Detroit matriculated, but 2nd and 8 from the 30. Goff picked by John Johnson. And I don't know if Chris Collinsworth had money on Detroit, but he really wanted that not to be an interception. He was like, ooh, I don't know. No, we know, Chris, it was a pick. Rams then go 80 yards on 10 plays, 4:39. Stafford to Kupp from 9 out, 20-17 Rams with 4:30 to go. They take their first lead of this ballgame. Stafford, 8 of 8 on that drive for 73 yards. Then Detroit, 3rd down and 5 at their own 35. By the way, it wasn't their first lead. They led 3-0, my bad. Detroit, 3rd down and 5 at their own 35. Kobe Durant almost picks off Goff. Lions decide to punt with all 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning with 4:10 left. Did you like that?
Not really.
I didn't either. Rams, I thought you were Riverboat Dan. Isn't that your name? Oh, that was wrong. Okay. Rams, 3rd and 5. Stafford with a ridiculous fadeaway completion to Robinson for 6. New set of downs. Detroit has to start using their timeouts on D, but on 2nd and 17, Kyron runs out of bounds. What are you doing? Detroit ends up getting the ball back with 2 timeouts and the 2-minute warning with 2:11 left. They go right downfield, get it to 3rd and 5 at the Rams 15 with 24 seconds left. Jake Bates, the rookie, 32-yard field goal. We're tied at 20. We're going to overtime, and then you know how this goes. Where all good bets go to die. All of our Rams in games or Rams money lines or whatever.
Oh, man.
Lions win the toss. The Rams would never see it again. Lions go 70 yards. David Montgomery rushes for 45 of them, despite Chris Collinsworth thinking they should have perhaps kicked a field goal instead. The Lions win 26-20. He didn't really know the rules.
Only one pass on that drive. Just ran it right down their throats.
Detroit by 7 over Tampa Bay.
We got 6.5 at DraftKings.
That'll be 7. Because, again, just like with New Orleans, I don't think we know anything about Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
they were playing a sieve of a defense against Washington.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I wouldn't go crazy about Tampa Bay. That should be 7. Okay.
I mean, look, Baker was really impressive, but you have to keep in mind the defensive effort.
These lines are a little off to me. You're
going to like a couple more.
More guessing lines, week 2 coming up.
VSiN is extending our VSiN Pro Football Special. That means for $175, you'll get access to both our NFL and college football betting guides, plus so much more. With VSiN Pro, you'll receive daily picks straight to your inbox, detailed analysis on every game, and exclusive data like our betting splits to help you become a sharper bettor. Get all this for just $175 through the Super Bowl. Or try a monthly subscription and get your first 30 days for only $19. Don't miss out on this unbeatable offer. Sign up now at VSiN.com/subscribe.
Don't wait until fall to start betting the NFL. Get a jump start now with the VSiN NFL Betting Guide and get prepared for this NFL season like never before. The guide has in-depth breakdowns for all 32 teams, best bets from our VSiN experts, playoff predictions, award market previews, and more. The guide is out now, and the only way to get it is to be a VSiN Pro subscriber. Head to VSiN.com/pro to sign up and join the sports betting network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
With both college and the NFL underway, there's never been a better time to become a VSiN Pro subscriber. Make this football season your best ever. With full VSiN Pro access to our daily best bets, betting splits, betting systems, and 24/7 video access. Grab our football season special. Get full VSiN Pro access from now through the Super Bowl for just $175. Or start a monthly subscription for just $9.99. See why VSiN Pro is your ticket to a winning season. Don't wait. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe to sign up and start betting smarter today. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. It's Gill Alexander. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Way too many to get to, but I will read some. This is from, let's see, Sam Ginsberg. Typical Steeler win. Looks like I have a shot of cashing my big parlay ticket of the Steelers to win the division and Steelers season total touchdowns under. I still have one to give.
Sam, as always, look out for those tricky sliding glass doors.
As always, Sam. I hope that bump went away. Was that the South Point?
Yeah.
Yeah. Las Vegas 514. Yo, how in the hell do 45 people miss making a pick in Survivor?
It's the best thing every year.
Tell them to send me money so I'll make a pick for them. Sheesh. He says sheesh, by the way. Mike Stacks, what is worse, all the Survivor no picks or all the beautiful people who maxed out with the Bengals 10 times? Thank you for all the generous donations. Hey, don't get cocky, Mike Stacks. You might be next.
Yeah.
Don't ever get cocky and Survivor.
I had a friend played it for the first time this year. He could not stop texting me about being shocked at how many people didn't get their picks in. I'm like, it happens every year. Every year.
I got to tell you something, man. I go a little different on this. I am not as shocked as most people are.
Well, I mean, at this point, I'm not.
Well, but what I mean by that is, okay, that's one thing to not be shocked. But what I mean by that is I kind of understand it more than others do, I think, around our little corner of the world. Because people have lives.
Sure.
And so they sign up for it whenever they sign up for it. And, if they have a wife and kids or whatever, I can see how they would forget it. I mean, it sucks and it's stupid. I'm not saying it's not, but I can see how it happens.
It just has to be, $1,000 just has to be kind of nothing to you, though, for that to happen.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Well, I think there's probably people. We talked about this.
Yeah,
so
there are definitely people that are like...
Last man standing, which is $100. I forgot to do it one year because 100 to me is 1,000 to them.
Right, yes.
Right?
No, that is fair.
Let us continue.
All right, let's keep rolling. We've got Sunday early slate still, Colts at Packers.
All right, Colts. Oh, we had an Anthony Richardson tweet, too. This game was interesting. So this is, again, the point of this is trying to figure out who's going to be overvalued and undervalued based on the market. Indianapolis is an interesting case. They lose to Houston by only 2 points. Game started out with Fairbairn giving Houston a 3-0 lead with a 51-yard field goal. Then Colts go 3 plays, 73 yards. Your guy, Anthony Richardson, on just a bomb of all bombs to Alec Pierce for 60. That ball was in the air for, it seemed like, way more than that. 7-3 Indianapolis, 5:12 left in the first quarter. Then Fairbairn cuts it to 7-6 with a 50-yarder. Again, the field goal kicking in this league is just insane.
It's incredible.
It's insane. These were kicks that only a few kickers could make when I was a kid. Now they're all like 50.
It also confirms like me not wanting to bet college football nearly as much every time I see it. It's automatic once you get past the 50.
After an Indianapolis 3-and-out, Houston goes 81 yards on 7 plays to open the second quarter. Stroud to Collins for 55, the big chunk to Diggs from 9 out. 12-7 Houston. So they go for the 2-point conversion, and the try fails. And this is where all the scoring gets a little janky in this game because of the 5-point edge now, 12-7. After a Colts punt and a Houston 3-and-out on a DeForest Buckner sack of Stroud, Anthony Richardson misses a wide-open Adonai Mitchell. I know they say Adonai, but for those of us in the Mashbucha, we're going Adonai. Adonai Mitchell for an easy touchdown on 1st and 10 at the Houston 29. Then 3 plays later, he's
faster receivers
picked by Kalen Bullock right after he misses the wide-open Mitchell on 2nd and 12 at the 20. So with 2:39 left in the second quarter, the half ends up running. Now, like, someone who watched this game, please explain to me. The half ends up running out on Houston with the same score, 12-7. When they elect not to kick a field goal with 5 seconds left at the Indianapolis 31 and the clock goes to 0 on them. That was really weird. Again, Indianapolis, Houston sort of giving them an opportunity by not taking the points there. Third quarter, Texans get a Fairbairn 51-yarder to go up 15-7. Then an Indianapolis 3-and-out, but then the Colts force a punt. Tommy Townsend attempt blocked, recovered by Trevor Denbo. Next play, Jonathan Taylor in from 5, touchdown. 2-point try from Taylor fails, though, so it's 15-13 Houston. Fourth quarter, Texans then go 70 yards, including Stroud throwing the ball over the middle late. But, a Cardinals sin for most quarterbacks. With C.J. Stroud, it's like, no big deal. There's Nico Collins. No problem. Eventually mixing in from 3, 22-13 Houston, early fourth quarter. And this is where this game was interesting because no matter how far Houston got ahead, Indianapolis would just kind of sort of make it interesting. Again, Anthony Richardson, next drive, misses a wide-open deep ball again. But then he hits Ashton Doolin for a 54-yard score. Most of that was yak. 22-20 Houston with 12-12 in the fourth quarter. Now the Texans are up 22-20, 4:45 left. They get it to 4th and goal at the 2. A field goal would put you up 5, but D'Amico Ryan says, let's go for it. Stroud to Diggs, touchdown. 29-20 Houston, 4:42 to go. As we will find out with other coaches later on this show, if there is doubt, just be aggressive. That should be the coach's North Star. Good on D'Amico Ryans. Indianapolis then goes 68 yards. AR to Alec Pierce from 57. Most of that on that drive was that play. 4 plays later, 4th and goal from the 3. Richardson in from 3, 29-27.
Passes up the wide open running back in the flat. Gill, because he's taking the ball the whole time.
I'll take it myself. 29-27, 2:14 left. Now, Indianapolis would never see the ball again, thanks in large part to a 3rd and 11 conversion from Stroud to Collins on the sideline, where Collins got a knee down, stretched out ball game. Richardson ends up completing 9 forward passes, 9 of 19 for 212, just because the bombs were there. Yeah. And a lot of yak on another. Pierce, 3 catches for 125 himself. Houston outgained Indy 417 to 303. And then there's who are they playing? Oh, by the way, they out time of possession. Houston did out time of possession Indianapolis 40 minutes to 20 minutes, but that's all very deceptive because of the nature of that game.
Yeah, playing the Packers.
At Green Bay. We didn't get a chance to talk about the Friday night game, but from a Green Bay perspective, if you're a Green Bay fan, we won't even go through it because it was so many days ago. But from a Green Bay perspective, I felt like they outplayed Philly most of that game until the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. And then Philly did their Philly thing where they just kept the ball for the last 7 minutes and punched it in.
When Saquon got rolling, man, it was Saquon.
But if you're a Green Bay fan, I mean, how could the whole next day I was like, if you're a Green Bay fan, how do you feel? You kind of dominated Philly. You might have come out of that game even in defeat, feeling better about your team than Philly might have. I know one team lost and the other won, but you certainly couldn't have felt bad about it until the second to last play of the game, where Jordan Love gets his foot wrenched underneath the defender, and he, as it turns out, by the way, they got the best of this because I thought it was going to be out for much more.
I thought it was going to be way worse,
MCL sprained, out 3 to 6 weeks. So now it's Malik Willis, who they just signed. Good God.
Malik Willis, who they just signed.
So because of that, I'm going to say Indianapolis -3.
Yeah, that is where it opened. I cannot believe it took this long to get to 3.5. I hit the 3 as soon as I saw it yesterday with the Colts. This is... look, this is not just a Kelly Anthony Richardson thing. We've seen enough of Malik Willis, I think, already. He didn't even play all that much over the first 3 years of his career. We've seen enough, though. That's enough for me. So, yeah, we're 3.5 now in that game.
3.5. Mm-hmm. Taking money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see, this is one of these things. I don't think the Colts are as good as they looked yesterday based on the final. Like, the final score makes it look like that was a more competitive ball game than I think it was.
Yeah, Adam Chernoff on his pod, I think he's on the Simple Handicap, said it well this morning. I expect this to be one of the highest variance offenses in the league this year, the Colts.
If you hit 2 huge plays like that and you only complete 9 passes, I don't know that you're good.
Yeah. But he also left a couple, right? Like that could have hit 2 more.
And they're going up against
a lot better.
And they're going up against Malik Willis, so I definitely get that.
Malik Willis, yeah. Okay, so early session on Sunday, Jets at Titans.
Jets obviously sight unseen. They play the Niners tonight, where they are 4-point dogs as of the moment in this game. We'll see if the Niners will have a pitch count on Trent Richardson, on Christian McCaffrey. We'll see what the story is. At Tennessee loses to the Bears. How do you lose this football game? You are up 17-0 in this game. Cairo Santos kicks a field goal 24-yarder before the half to make it 17-3. And then in the third quarter, after a Chicago punt, Tennessee's Ryan Stonehouse punt blocked. Jonathan Owens to the house, 21 yards, 17-10 Tennessee. Early third quarter, Santos would add a field goal to make it 17-13. And in the fourth quarter, Will Levis, 3rd and 6 from your own 48, sacked by Darrell Taylor. He fumbles. TJ Edwards recovers. That sets them up at the Tennessee 31. They have to settle for a Santos field goal to cut it to 17-16. And then 2nd and 10 for the Titans at their own 41 with 8:29 to go. Your boy Billy Levi's ill-advised pass right to Tyreek Stevenson. 43 yards to the house. The Bears lead. They end up winning after the 2-point conversion, by the way, 24-17. They end up winning this ball game when Levis is picked by Jalen Johnson to seal the deal. The Bears were held to 11 first downs in this game.
What was it, like
148 total yards. And because of a punt return for a touchdown and a pick six, Tennessee figures out a way to lose this game. Sight unseen for the Jets, I will say -4.5 on the road.
You are pretty much dead on. We are at 4 at DraftKings right now.
Okay. Didn't like those two as much as the first 3 games, but three out of the shoot is pretty good value.
I mean, I'll add the, obviously we haven't seen the Jets yet. I'll add the Titans to the list too. Of like Titans, I think because of what that offense has made like this year, them and the Colts, I think there could be some real good looking weeks on offense, and I think there could be some real bad looking weeks on offense.
I don't know if Will Levis is any good at all.
Keep throwing those INTs, Billy. I got that bet. Let's go.
I don't know if he's any good at all. More guessing lines week 2. Try to extract value. Numbers game right here.
In the heart of downtown Las Vegas, a sports oasis awaits. Stadium Swim, the ultimate outdoor amphitheater, built for the ultimate sports fan, with a colossal screen that brings the game closer than ever. Reserve a daybed, private cabana, or lounge in the center of it all. 6 pools to dive into as the game heats up. And the best part, there's never an off-season. Open 365 days a year. Stadium Swim, it's always spectator season.
Looking for the ultimate sports betting podcasts? VSiN has got you covered. With a wide range of podcasts covering every major sport, we're here to help you make smarter bets every season. The Baseball Betting Show with Greg Peterson gives you daily insights into finding value on each day's MLB card. And check out Long Shots, where we deep dive into the world of golf betting, providing you with expert insights to help you bet every tournament. Find all of these podcasts and more at VSiN.com/podcasts or your favorite podcast platform.
Numbers Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Are you the type of player who's looking to get down $10,000 or more on an NFL line at the best price in the market? Or perhaps you're looking to get your in-game play instantly accepted? Introducing SportTrade, the app that's going to change sports betting. Minus 104 lines instead of the typical minus 110. Instant in-game betting and a concierge player service. SportTrade is perfect for those who want a premium betting experience. SportTrade live already in Jersey, Colorado, and Iowa. Coming to Arizona and Virginia. Download SportTrade. Use code VSiN to earn 10% cash back on each wager in your first week. Terms apply. Got to be 21 years or older to play. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Gill Alexander, it's Guessing Lines. Week 2, year 14 of Guessing Lines. A tradition unlike any other, regardless of what Jim Nantz tells you. By the way, we forgot one thing when we were doing the Saints earlier.
What?
We forgot one thing. The Saints gets me through on Survivor.
There we go.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks, B.
Seahawks and Bucks did a pretty good job, too, for me. Thank you.
Oh, there you go.
Ready for early?
Yeah, let's go.
49ers and Vikings.
These are still early games, right?
What's that?
These are still early games.
Yeah, still early. We've got like 5 more to go. Early.
All right, San Francisco sight unseen again, and they play the Jets tonight at Minnesota. Minnesota against the Giants. Good on every one of you who had the conviction to completely pound the Vikings against the Giants. I thought the Giants would suck, but I wasn't convinced about the Vikings. Well, the Giants, complete suckitude. Vikings first drive, 3rd and 16 at their own 9. Darnold to C.J. Ham, hit by Dre Phillips. He fumbles, recovered by Bobby Okereke, leads to a 23-yard Gano field goal. 3-0 Giants, and that would be their high point. Vikings then went 75 yards, helped by a 36-yard PI. Aaron Jones eventually in from 3. 7-3 Minnesota late first quarter. After a Giants punt, Vikings went 11 plays, 99 yards. Darnold to Jefferson for 44 along the way. Eventually to Jefferson for 3 out on 4th and 2 from the 3. 14-3 Minnesota, 6:55 left in the second quarter. Darnold threw his first incompletion in this game with 1 minute 15 seconds left in the second quarter. Yeah. That's how easy peasy it was for him. And then third quarter, Vikings went right downfield, culminating in a Darnold to Jalen Naylor 21-yard touchdown pass, 21-3. After a Gano 50-yarder to make it 21-6. Later, Jones picked at point-blank range by Andrew Van Ginkel, former Dolphin, now with the Vikings, 10 yards to the house, 28-6 late third quarter, and the rest of it was academic. A Harrison Smith pick of Daniel Jones was the deal, was what sealed the deal at the end. 28-6 Vikings. Darnold 19 of 24 for 208. Just a romp by the Vikings. The Giants, in their horrific 100-year anniversary 1925 throwback jerseys, those need to be thrown out. And Daniel Jones, we talk about Bryce Young. Bryce Young, 1 year and 1 game. It does not look good, obviously, with the Carolina Panthers. Daniel Jones, because they signed him to this long-term deal after the rookie deal,
is a bigger disaster.
Is a bigger disaster because there's this albatross around this franchise. If you watch the Giants preseason Hard Knocks, you saw this coming with the Giants. Now, not necessarily in this one game, because I didn't take Minnesota, because I didn't know about Minnesota. But the Giants, the Barkley, the willingness to let Barkley go. The fact that Jones's contract means you can't sign Xavier McKinney. I don't know. And then their big acquisition, Brian Burns from the Panthers, I don't know what he was doing yesterday. So I'll say all that. Again, Niners we haven't seen yet. No man's land, minus 5.5 on the road.
Yeah, you are pretty much dead on. A couple 5s out there. 4.5 to 5.5 in that dead range, but 5.5 at DraftKings.
Next.
Keep rolling early. Seahawks at Patriots.
Seahawks beat the Broncos. They do so by 6, 26-20. Broncos might have had a shot late in this game. Well, first of all, let me just say this. The first half of this game was completely weird. Geno was picked by Alex Singleton to start the game. Broncos 3 and out, but they settle for the Lutz 35-yard field goal after the pick. 3-0 Denver. It was 3-3. Then Denver drives downfield, but Nick stares down his receiver, 3rd and 9 at the Seattle 21, picked by Julian Love. The first of 2 horrific Bo Nix interceptions in this game. But Love picks it off at the 1.
Real quick, Gill.
Yeah.
Touchdown interception celebrations need to change in this league. A interception where you go out at your own 1-yard line should not be celebrated the same as a pick 6. Yes.
So they get the ball at the 1. The Broncos do. The Seahawks do in a 3-3 game with 11:28 left in the second quarter. The first play, holding in the end zone, safety, 5-3 Denver.
Offensive line's horrible.
Seattle punts after the safety, as you do, but after holding Denver to a 3 and out. They fumble on the punt return. A fumble on the punt return by D. Williams. J.L. Skinner recovers. That leads to a Lutz 30-yard field goal. It's 8-3. Seattle responds. Geno, 34-yard touchdown run. They take a brief lead to the Seahawks, 9-8. Two-point attempt fails. Then a Denver 3-and-out, but the punt is 65 yards, and it pins Seattle just inches from the goal line again. Another safety when Zach Allen tackles Charbonnet inside the end zone, 10-9 Denver. Late in the second quarter. It's the first time two safeties have occurred by one team in a game since the year 2017. 3, by the way, is the record in a game. One more Lutz field goal before halftime. 13-9 Denver. Very strange first half where Seattle was in jail, seemingly in the entire first half of this game. Then, once the third quarter started, different story. After a Denver 3-and-out, 6 plays, 61 yards for Seattle. Kenneth Walker, the third in for 23, 16-13 Seattle. Then 3rd and 11 on their own 46, Nix to McLaughlin. He fumbles. That leads to a Myers field goal to up the lead to 19-3. Then, after another Denver 3-and-out, Seattle goes 80 yards on 6 plays. Geno to Zach Charbonnet for 30, 26-13. Seconds into the fourth quarter, and you think, well, this is going to be a runaway. Well, after a Seattle punt, a little later on, by the way, Denver 3-and-out, they elect to punt 4th and 1 at their own 39. Down 13. I thought that was curious.
Yep.
But after Seattle punted, Nick's terrible pass picked by Reek Woolen. Later, after Seattle 3-and-out, Broncos would score on a nice run by Nix. Give Nix credit on the run, where he did that intramural football thing where you keep faking passes and spin, and the defender doesn't know what to do. He did that twice, and he got in easy from 4 out. So that cut the lead to 26 to 20, and he did it north of the 2-minute warning. So they had 2 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. They had a shot here, but it was not to be because 3rd and 6, Geno to lock it. That conversion ended the ball game. Another 14 total penalties called in that game, but Denver ends up beating Seattle. So Seattle ends up beating Denver. So Seattle gets the win. They're on the road here against New England. Now, this was the survivor killer. Cincinnati looked like hot garbage from the beginning. And this is a Zach Taylor thing. We had some people who warned us about this, right? They're like, hey, this is always Cincinnati's MO. Cincinnati 3-and-out 3 times to start the game. In that process, Ramondre went in from 3, 7-0 New England. By the way, Cincinnati then goes 65 yards. Burrow to Gesicki for what looked like a would-be touchdown from 15 out to tie it at 7-7. Yeah. But no, overturned. Gesicki bobbled it. Next play, 3rd and 11 from the 15. Burrow to Tanner Hudson down the middle for 13 of those yards. This is just like the Jacksonville play almost. But he's hit by Kyle Duggar. He fumbles it forward to Marcus Jones, and the survivor sphincters tightened. And everybody knew at this point, by the way, if you had Cincinnati and Survivor, you kind of knew in your gut. You're like, this is not going to happen. Sly field goal made it 10-0 New England by the half. They got it to 13-0. After Charlie Jones fumbled, Jalen Hawkins recovered, so 13-0 on a slide 35-yarder. Finally, then Cincinnati next drive. They're down 13-0. 4th and 2 at the New England 36. They decide to go for it. They only get 1 yard. Mm-hmm. Stop. So everything that could have gone wrong did in this game. Finally, after another Pats 3-and-out, Cincinnati does get to the house. 90-yard drive, finishing with Zach Moss in from 5. So it's 13-7 New England, 1:10 left in the third quarter. Did you even think Cincinnati had a shot at this? I still didn't.
Okay. Overall, no, Gill, but I do think Joe Burrow's special enough that when he got the ball back with one last chance and you're only down 6, I was not counting him out.
They trade field goals 16-10, and what you're talking about, Kelly, is that Cincinnati ends up with the football at their own 10 with 3:04 left, down 6.
Yeah.
They only manage 5 yards on 3 downs, and they decide to punt on 4th and 5 at their own 15 with 2:26 left in this game and a full allotment of timeouts and a 2-minute warning. Ramondre for 5, timeout.
Yes,
Ramondre for 9, first down, 2-minute warning. Ramondre for 3, Ramondre for 9, first down, ball game. It's over. It was over. Brissett, 15 of 24 for 121. The Bengals had no life on them. They only gained 224 yards. Good for Aaron Schatz in terms of off-season calls. Mm-hmm. New England, they aren't going to be the last winless. They're 1-0.
Yeah, that's already a futures ticket loss for me. Patriots last winless.
I'll say Seattle -4 on the road at New England.
Okay, you are. It is 3, open 3, but it is heading your way. A couple 3.5s in the market right now. 3.5 over at DraftKings, and a lot of juiced 3s on Seattle. This was the one I did bring up last week. I bet on the look ahead of Seattle laying 3. So think about Patriots win. And this number's still only getting bigger.
Squeeze in one more.
Yeah, Giants at Commanders, Sunday early window.
All right, we talked about both of these games. Giants at Washington. This has to be 3, right?
It is down to 2.5, 2 for the Commanders.
That's just like the opposite of the Miami. Like, why is that less than 3?
I don't know. I think this opened 3.
I mean, I can tell you what the reason is, that I guess the market thinks Washington's defense is so bad that they deserve to be less than a 3-point favorite. But it's Washington or nothing.
I also like week 2. Yeah, a lot of places this opened 3. So yeah, down to 2.5, 2.
Daniel Jones, 22 of 42 for 186. He was sacked 5 times. Jaden Daniels, by the way, 17 of 24 for 184. Sacked twice, 16 for 88, 2 touchdowns on the ground. So at least he had the willingness to run. But none of the rookie quarterbacks were great, but he might have been the best of the bunch. Guessing lines. Week 2 continues on the other side. Numbers game at VSiN.
A new football season means a new lineup on VSiN. Start your day with sharp betting analysis.